Yo, let's go. Welcome back to Semen Retention. Just cruising through life at the moment, feeling really good. I just ended like a full, I think, 6 days of work and, working long hours, but I've got that juice inside me, that fresh supply that's just rejuvenating my soul and my body. Every single day I rise to the occasion and to the challenges. And today's episode of Semen Retention, I want to talk about, are they admiring you? Are they hating you? Are they jealous? Are they envious? Like, what's the go with this? Like, what are we going through as men on semen retention? And I'm talking about proper long streaks of semen retention here. This is not a channel for people that like struggle with 1 week or something like that. Like, go watch some of those algorithm push channels, I'm talking about deeper stuff here. So what you'll find on this longer streak is that you're starting to really chisel out and define who this current present version of yourself is meant to be. And what I find interesting is I've noticed in the past I've had plenty of people who have been kind of copycats in a sense, but recently it's been more of like this hostility. Like, people are kind of crossing their arms and just not giving me the respect that I believe I deserve. And that's not to say I'm entitled. It's just to say that like my job is to elevate the frequency of the room and to put people into a good mood. But sometimes when you're an anomaly, which is most of the time on semen retention, if you're channeling your semen retention into your purpose and you're really upskilling and creatively expressing yourself in these higher kind of versions of yourself, a lot of the time people don't know how to react to that, especially because it's someone literally standing right in front of them in the same room, breathing the same air as them, and they're demonstrating how they are living. And this kind of aura and this electromagnetic kind of essence that you're exuberating from yourself can really baffle people. It can really make people think, hang on a second, like why is this guy doing this? Like, why is this guy able to do this? And like, I'm just sitting here, like, I don't get it. They're confused at first. They don't know how to handle your vibration. They don't know how to handle this level of power. And I know I'm not trying to sound egotistical or anything like that, but it is literally an energetic field, and energy converts into power. And like, this for men and women can come across as, whoa, like what is going on? And so what I wanted to talk about is some recent experiences that I've had. See, being a musician, it's a very public and performative type of role. So I'm exposed to thousands of people a week. Like, my energy, whether it be on a subtle kind of subconscious level or in like a real in-person conscious connection with someone in the moment whilst I'm performing, there is a definite reciprocation and projection of my energy out there. And what I've found is recently, I think people are they're struggling on this deceptive timeline. So I've talked about in the past, and a lot of people have talked about recently, how there's like a bit of a split in vibration at the moment. There's the 1% of us that have decided to separate from the herd and go on this semen retention journey, or celibacy, or whatever it is they're doing, and they're really living in the moment. And they can accept and be inspired by someone that is very high vibrational. But on the contrary, the low vibrational people are struggling, especially when they're faced with someone like myself, who is like literally singing and dancing with love. And it's like, it's confronting, because it's like, wait, hang on a second, why is this guy living like this? And so I've had a lot of people at my gigs kind of give me hostile energy in the first hour of interacting with me, because they don't understand that this is my natural thing. This isn't a fake thing. This isn't a fake energy. I'm not playing a character of high vibrational. I'm not snorting some, illicit substances to prop myself up. I'm not taking, TRT to increase my energy and to stabilize my mood. I'm not, I'm not doing this and that. I'm not even taking energy drinks before I perform. It's all natural. It's all just me. It's my essence. It's my authenticity. It's my truth. It's my truth that is expressing myself. And look, guys, I have had such a crazy week, right? It's exposed to me just how this unfortunate kind of separation is occurring. But it's all contractual. It's all agreed upon the user, right? The user of this lifetime agrees to operate on a low vibration or a high vibrational frequency. We can blame the deceptive systems and structures all as much as we want, but at the end of the day, every user has the responsibility to remain in a high vibration, and if they don't, well, they live the consequences. And so in my previous videos, I talked about on the 31st of December, which is a calendar date. There's usually a celebration at night we call New Year's Eve. I don't believe in that, but I'm just going to call it New Year's Eve just for the sake of getting this story across. At the end of my night when I was playing my gig, I was confronted by some hostile people at this campground that I was performing at, and there was this man that was physically wanting to violently attack me, and I decided that I was like, you know what, my gut instinct said, this is a flee moment, this is not a fight moment, I have to go. So I got out of that situation. Now, funnily enough, last night when I was playing my gig, there was this rough looking dude, and he heckled me. And I realized that at all my gigs recently, I've been getting heckled a lot. People are they're testing me. And this is something you got to understand. Doesn't matter if you're serving drinks, or you're being a builder and you're working with other builders, or if you're, in an office environment, you're going to get heckled on semen retention. This is part of the test. See, God, he uses, by the way, I don't believe God has a gender, I just say he, okay? So God uses these human beings as a means of testing your sovereignty and your power. Because a person that operates in truth is not afraid to express their truth and is not afraid to stand up for themselves. So this heckler, rough looking dude, said to me, he's like, oh, funnily, you're talking about Halloween because you look like a wicked looking dude or something like that, or you look like you got a horrible face or something like that. Like, it was like a very kind of make fun of my appearance kind of look, which I was literally wearing what I wear now, and I think I don't look bad. I don't look like a monster or anything like that. So I thought it was funny, and I went back at him because I know this guy was rough, and he had that kind of thick skin on him and rough background kind of thing. And I said to him, oh, you'd be the expert on things that look horrible for sure. And then there was a few chuckles in the audience and all that kind of stuff, but then he had this instant respect for me. And you know what? He came up to me during my set break and he said to me, hey man, I hope you know that I was just having a little jab at you, but I was like, I was just heckling you just for the sake of it and stuff like that. And I was like, it's all good, man. I appreciate a bit of banter. And to be honest, if you can't handle banter, you're not up for this semen retention journey. If you can't handle the hate, you're not up for this semen retention journey. If you can't handle the heckling, you're not up for this challenge, okay? You're not up to becoming this divine masculine, like holding strong sovereign being. And so the guy actually admitted to me, he said to me, look man, I'm so jealous of you, bro. Like, you get to sing and play guitar and your voice is so good, man. Like you sing so well and your guitar's great, and you know, like I can't even play guitar to save my life, and when I sing I sound like a cat dying. And you know, he was really authentic with me and kind of saying how like he just doesn't have the ability to do what I do. And then later on we had another chat. Turns out this guy, he was brought up in like a boys' home, which is basically a place where really rough kids go to. So he grew up a lot of his young years in a home full of boys that didn't have proper families, and they were in these kind of rough environments. And he told me that he was a very violent kid and he's always known how to fight. And that's the one only thing that he can do. And he told me how he protected his brother-in-law, who was going to get assaulted by these guys, and he fought them all. And he went back to his wife's parents' house, and there was all this blood all over him. And then the brother-in-law said, "Oh, he saved my life. If it wasn't for him fighting, I would have died." That's what the brother-in-law said. So this guy, he had a nickname. His name was Sledge, or is Sledge. And the funny thing about Sledge is that he had this kind of, this real genuine awake nature to himself. But he was also afraid of himself in the sense that he realized that he was a violent person, and he didn't like the fact that people associated him with the name Sledge because he had the ability to knock people out with one punch, like a sledgehammer. Like his hands were like sledgehammers. They would just break you, right? And so this guy that had the ability to break anyone heckled me. I threw it back at him and he instantly respected me, right? That is the kind of guy that you know is someone that is going to either reincarnate in this world and get to live my lifestyle where he gets to do the guitar and the singing or something like that, or he completely transcends all that and he gets to realize that being a fighter, being someone that can fight and use their fists, is just as valuable as someone singing and playing guitar or preaching or anything like that. It doesn't matter what your profession is. Everyone has a unique gift, and we need men that can knock someone out with one punch. Because if it weren't for someone like him, someone like me, getting nearly assaulted by these drunk demons, he would be one of those guys that would stand to my side and fight them off. And my specialty is my voice. I can inspire people with my voice. I can elevate the room with my voice. I can do a lot of things with my voice. But I'm not meant to be a fighter. Like I'm meant to be a fighter on an intellectual kind of spiritual level, but I'm not going to be going in the ring, right? It's just not how I was designed. I know a professional boxer who was very successful in Australia. I know him personally, and he trained me to box. I know how to box. I've never been in fights, like boxing fights or anything like that. But the point is that it's like you don't have to become a fighter. You don't have to become someone that's going to be violent. It's important to take care of your body and all that kind of stuff. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is that, you know, everyone's got a purpose. And so on reflecting on all these crazy kind of moments, it has me wondering, like, why do people find you like a threat, or they try to test you on semen retention, or they admire you and don't want to admit it? And it's like, but this guy did. You know, like, I think what happens is when you are embodying your true self, it's a lot easier for people to understand and to idolize when it's distant from them. Like if we were to look at the stars at night and we saw a shooting star fly past us, we would be like, oh, that's beautiful, you know. But if we just looked at the sun, you know, every single day, oh, we know the sun's gonna rise. Okay, it's just the sun. It is what it is, you know. Who cares? It's just the sun, right? We can respect the sun for what it is, get a nice tan, get the vitamin D and all that kind of stuff, but we don't have that magical feeling about it because it's always there. It's right there in front of us. We can see it. Whereas a shooting star, oh wow, that was beautiful. I just saw a shooting star. It's like, okay. So here's the issue, right? Is that when people are radiating this star-like energy in front of you, in person, instead of saying, wow, man, I love what you do. How do you do that? Or, wow, man, what you do inspires me. I wish I could do what you do. Or, how did you get to that level? Or, you know, how long have you been doing this? What is your story? I'd love to be able to know how you got to this point. People aren't asking questions. They're insecure. They're on that low vibrational, confronting type of energy where they feel like you must have done something wrong. You must have cheated, or you must have been handed something. It must be like, oh, you must have just got given these things because, you know, maybe your parents were rich, or you must have been given these things because you just got lucky in life. It's like, okay, whatever, bro. A lot of people don't even have the humility, like that man Sledge, a legend, Sledge the Ledge is what I'll know him as. They don't have the humility to be like, you know what? This guy is onto something. How can I pick his brain? How can I understand it? No. They're not going to do that. When you're on semen retention, a lot of people are just going to assume that you don't deserve it. And you gotta accept that. They're just not on that frequency. They're just gonna hate you a lot. They're gonna try their best to kind of like be indifferent. You know, they don't want to show you any signs of positivity. They don't want to show you any signs of negativity that is too negative that you react, but they're not going to give you anything because they don't know how to comprehend what they're seeing in front of them. If it was a shooting star that disappeared away from them, be like, oh wow, that was great. Did you see that? It's gone now, but wow, I wish it came back. I wish that radiant thing came back. I want to see it again. It's like, well, how many times on your semen retention journey have you gone through these moments where you've detached from people and they don't know this is the last time that they're going to see you? They don't know that 3 years ago was the last time you guys hung out and had a good time. They don't know that this is something that they're going to look back in their life and realize that was one of the peaks, because you were always operating in a radiant, high vibration, and they didn't have the humility, they didn't have the honesty within themselves, they didn't have the love to be able to say, you know what, mate, I got to give it to you. You're pretty talented. You're pretty awesome. I love your aesthetic. I love the way that you know how to work out. I love the way that you know how to make a lot of money. I love the way that you know how to like make really good food. I love the way that you know how to make everyone feel good in a social setting. It's like these people, they're never going to give you your praise. And that's why we cut them off. And it doesn't matter if they're family or friends, they're just going to go. But they will always remember. They will always remember. And it's going to take a lot of healing for them to transcend the hatred and denial that they go through at first when they understand that you're not coming back. But yeah, unfortunately for them, it's one of those things. It's just the natural course of a man on semen retention. Is that when you are such a radiant, high vibrational entity, you have a gravitational pull towards you. You have magnetism. You have mass, you know. And then as soon as you decide, hang on a second, I got to elevate out of this timeline. I got to get away from this space. I got to get away from these, you know, these orbiting kind of low vibrational orbiting losers, right? And then you transcend and you go into a different reality, and then suddenly they stop spinning around because there's no magnetism to pull, and then suddenly they're just still rocks floating in space. They don't have the sun to orbit, and then they freeze, and then one day they die, unfortunately. And that's a lot, man. That's a lot. And you just got to accept these realities in your life. You got to accept that that's just what's going to happen to a lot of people. It is kind of sad if you think about it, but it's also kind of like, you know what? Maybe that's the lesson. Maybe that void that they have to live with the rest of their life, knowing that they didn't give you the respect that you deserved, knowing that they were never giving you anything back, never giving you any energy. You know, they never went out of their way to be grateful for what you do, and the fact that you sacrifice instantaneous pleasure to build something prosperous long term that would be beautiful and abundant. They never had that. They decided to go down the low vibrational, instant gratification, you know, hater route where everyone else is going on. So guys, I hope you got something out of this video. Just remain steadfast, remain calm, and understand that all this hate, all this heckling, all this kind of, you know, body language kind of negativity that people do, or hostility that they project towards you, it's all going to pass. You're just going to transcend it. You're not going to go back to those spaces. And just an update about that camping ground incident where that guy tried to bash me. I called him up today and just said, oh, hey, how did it all go? And they said the feedback was great. They all loved me that night. So the campground officially said that they liked me. And then I told them about the incident, and then they were like, yep, we're blacklisting them forever. So just goes to show that when you operate on a low vibrational frequency, you know, I'm not trying to go out there and snitch on people and put people out and all that kind of stuff. Like, my intention isn't to blacklist people. But when you don't operate in low vibrational activities and people start to hate on you, trust me, God's on your side. He's going to send them their punishment. They're blacklisted from a camping ground that apparently they were around and would go to for more than a decade. So they can find something new to go to, because I'm transforming that vibe now. I know that the people are on my side, and now all those negative frequencies, all those negative people, they're getting flushed out. I'm cleaning that place up. My vibration is purifying all those toxic a-holes out of existence, because if they can't handle the light, well, they shouldn't have woken up in this morning in the first place. So, with that being said, I'll see you on the next video. Enjoy your day, enjoy your night, blessing, and remain high vibrational. Let's go!